Okay, this is Best of the West in Art, Music, Movies, and Books by me, Pete Rogers, part 46. We're sort of in the second part of the paintings of chivalry from the 1800s. This one here is by Edmond Leighton of St. Elizabeth in her Charity for the Poor. This is one of the great things about Christianity. Christianity lets you live your life however you want to live your life. She was the daughter of a king, and she was like a lay member of one of the religious orders. I forget which one, like the Franciscans or something, to do extensive charity work. And the church was really good at that in the past, okay? And so she became a saint. And that's what I mean by the Catholic Church honors women far more than other organizations or other religions, okay? And a lot more than Protestantism, okay? You know, they honor the Virgin Mary, and there's all these Catholic female saints. You would be surprised if you study the subject. You will see that is the case. And, you know, again, look how spectacular this painting is. It totally captures the mood of everything here. Okay, she was in the secular order of the Franciscans. Okay, now here's another painting, another one by Edmond Leighton, The Little Prince, you know, put up before the people there, and it's, you know, just a beautiful painting. You can sense the whole movement, the castle in the background, the walls of the city. It's beautiful. Okay, there was a book called The Little Prince in French, not exactly the same thing, but still a great book. Okay, here's Stańczyk by Jan Matejko. Okay, now this Jan Matejko was a great Polish patriot, and he cataloged the history of Poland. And this guy Stańczyk right here was a court jester for the king, and he's, you know, dressed a little bit silly like the jester, almost like the fool, if you will. And there's a party going on in the room next door to him, but he's not happy. He's not involved in the party. He's looking at the newspaper article right next to him that Poland had lost a battle in Smolensk, and he's kind of sad about it. You can see a comet is kind of falling, and potentially a negative omen, if you will. He's dropped his court jester's rattle on the ground. He's a little bit brooding and sad. So my wife would call me Stańczyk, my ex-wife, and she meant it as an insult, like 5 insults at once. Stańczyk's a little bit short. I'm a little bit short, you know, 5'9". I'm not that short, okay, but a little bit short. He's a party pooper. He just wants to read and to think when everybody else is drinking and dancing. Okay, so he's a bit of a nerd, a clown. So these were all insults that she was throwing at me. Okay, but you know, I looked at Stańczyk more closely. I looked him up. Stańczyk was the smartest man in all of Poland. He was the most well-read. He had read the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, the philosopher, the Renaissance. He was a highly educated guy. He was the advisor to the king, and he did the best he could for Poland. And the great artist, the greatest artist ever in the history of Poland is Jan Matejko. He's a magnificent artist. He painted himself as the face of Stańczyk because he loved Stańczyk as well. The more you study Stańczyk, the more you like him. So I told my wife, yeah, you call me Stańczyk. I want you to call me Stańczyk all the time. I'm proud to be like him. Okay, and he was funny, and he was nice, and he was good. Okay, so anyways, that's Stańczyk. Okay. Okay, now here's the painting of A Call to Arms. You can see the prince has just gotten married, and he just wants to have a nice honeymoon. But, you know, his lead general has told him there's a problem afoot, and it's time to mobilize. Okay. Now here's a lovely painting, a lovely lady there stitching the standard. Okay. And just in small little things like this, they're just beautiful. By Edmond Leighton again. You know, you just see the paintings, they're beautiful. All right, now here is The King and the Beggar Maid. When this painting's kind of funny in the sense that, you know, the wealthy, powerful king, he will want to marry a beggar maid if he's in love with her. Versus if you turned it the other way around, the queen or the princess would never, ever want anything to do with a poor man. It's just a fact, okay? You know, the old joke is, why do women have Virginias and men have jobs? So they talk to each other. And there's a bit of a joke there, but the point here too is, men are more romantic. He was interested in her. She doesn't have to give him any money or do anything else. He just wants her. Whereas she doesn't want just the man. She wants what the man can do for her. You know, can he help her get a job? Can he help her with her training? Can he pay her bills? Can he raise her social status? Whatever. All right, well, anyways, The King and the Beggar Maid. Men are more romantic than women are. They really are. No doubt about it. Okay, here's a famous painting, Lady Godiva by Edmond Leighton. So, her husband, the king, had raised taxes against the people, and she felt this was unfair. She had come from a lower wealth class part of the society. And in order to get him to lower the taxes, he said, okay, I'll lower the taxes if you ride around the town naked on horseback, okay, double bareback. Okay, and she agrees. Here's a painting of Lady Godiva riding through town on the horse, okay, by John Collier. Beautiful painting. You can see how these paintings, they're magnificent. This is what I meant by the 1800s. One painting after another that's just magnificent, a masterpiece. All right, now here is the Bard, the fame. This one's again by Edmond Leighton. It's called Faded Laurels. So here's the old Bard. This would be like me, okay? Totally ignored by society, considered just an outcast, hardly any views, low-life YouTube channel, must not be any good, it doesn't get a lot of views. No, it's shadow banned and ostracized because it tells the truth. If you lie like the high-fat phonies, millions of views. If you lie even more like the bro science supplement sellers, 10 times more views, okay? So this is the price you pay for telling the truth, but it's still worth it to keep the truth alive. And this is also why you need Christian ethics, because the Christian ethics, they're obligated to tell you the truth if they really believe it and follow it, as I do. Versus once you go to atheistic Darwinism, it's every man for himself. You have no obligation to anybody. Faded Laurels, The Lonely Bard. And here's another one, essentially the same sort of thing. This one by John Martin, The Bard, kind of reminiscent of John the Baptist, a voice in the wilderness crying out. Okay, now here's a great painting, again by Edmond Leighton. This one is called Tracing the Shadow of Goodbye. So you can see the ship is out in the sea, and he must go, with his army, his country to fight. And this is gender reality. All this female equality stuff is nonsense. A woman's got the physical strength of a 6th grade boy. She's not going to do anything physical that's impressive other than have a baby, okay? So it's the guy who has to go out and fight and risk his life. And society values women more than men because it doesn't put its women on the front line, okay? It puts its men on the front line. They're considered expendable. The female's not, okay? That's just how it is, okay? But it's still a beautiful thing. She loves him, and she's tracing his outline to remember him by while he's gone. And hopefully he'll make it back. So, beautiful painting. A lot of red hair. Reminds me of the Scottish and the Irish. Okay, now here's a great Irish painting. This is called Meeting on the Turret Stairs by William Burton from 1864. And this is the most popular Irish painting of all time. And you see, if you ever had a long-distance romance, you know that feeling. And it's the saddest thing, when your lover is far away and you know you're not going to see him for a long time. So anyways, Meeting on the Turret Stairs is beautiful. All right, so that's it for part 2 of Paintings of Chivalry. We'll call it a day at that. Hope you found that interesting, enjoyable.